Hello everyone and welcome back. You're probably wondering why the hell am I standing? Because see, when I sit, it looks like I'm literally wearing like a toga or whatever. You're probably wondering like, oh my gosh, these cases are getting weirder and weirder. I realized that as well and I'm sorry about that. But anyway, today's case is about Anatoly Moskvin. Now, it is graphic, don't get me wrong, and it's really messed up. But the biggest disclaimer is me pronouncing things wrong. It is in Russian, so I'm sorry, I don't speak Russian, so some words are going to be pronounced wrong. I barely speak English, never mind another language. So I hope you enjoy today. I'm not going to spoil it. Also, tell me how I did in the comments, and I hope you enjoy. Who was Anatoly Moskvin? He was a 46-year-old Russian historian. He's from a city in central Russia. He was arrested in 2011 after it emerged he had dug up corpses of girls aged between 3 and 12 years old. He was known to be incredibly smart. In court, he was described as a genius. He can speak 13 languages. So once he took these girls out of their graves, he would mummify them and embalm them. He would stuff the decayed corpses with rags, then wrap nylon tights around their faces or fashion doll faces onto them. He would also insert buttons or toy eyes into the girls' eye sockets so they could watch cartoons with him. Some of the clothes that the dolls, or the mummified corpses, were wearing were the clothes they were actually buried in. They wore varied clothing. Some wore knee-high boots, others had makeup on their faces, or Moskvin had covered their faces in fabric. He had also hidden their hands in fabric. He would put music boxes or toys inside the rib cages, so it could produce sounds when Moskvin touched them. There were also personal belongings and clothing inside some of the mummies. One mummy had a piece of her own gravestone with her name scrawled on it inside her body. Another one contained a hospital tag with the date and the cause of the girl's death. And another had a dried human heart. He would preserve the girls with a simple solution of salt and baking soda. He celebrated the girls' birthdays with them, and also celebrated public holidays with them. He kept most of the dolls in his room. However, he did say that he grew out of love for some of them and kept those girls in the garage. He said he did this because he was lonely. He wanted children himself, however, the adoption center wouldn't let him. He also said he did what he did because he was waiting for science to find a way to bring back the dead. So in the meantime, he thought he would preserve them. He went to over 700 cemeteries, sometimes also walking 20 miles to find the perfect grave. In his apartment, there was also photographs and plaques taken off the gravestones, doll-making manuals, and maps of local cemeteries. He lived with his parents. His 76-year-old mom said, "We saw these dolls, but we did not suspect there were dead bodies inside. We thought it was his hobby to make such big dolls and did not see anything wrong with it." Sources say there was 26 to 29 life-sized dolls in his apartment. The longest time he ever kept one of the corpses was for nearly 9 years. That was one of the victims that I showed earlier. She was 10 when she died. Her mom visited her grave for 9 years, not knowing that her little girl is now sitting in an apartment as a mummified doll. He has admitted to 44 counts of abusing graves and dead bodies. He said to the victims' parents, "You abandoned your girls. I brought them home and warmed them up." Moskvin allegedly told authorities not to bother reburying the girls too deep, as he will simply unbury them when he's released. Moskvin was diagnosed with schizophrenia and sentenced to time in a psychiatric ward following his sentencing. In September 2018, he was faced with the opportunity to continue psychiatric treatment in his home. Since his prosecution, his parents live in utter isolation as their community ostracizes them. Mother suggested that her and her husband should just kill themselves, but her husband refused. They are both in a very unhealthy condition. There are no books or movies on his crimes if you are interested in more information. However, this movie is based off the crimes that Anatoly committed. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know how I did in the comments, and remember to subscribe and follow my Instagram for more information.